Make some noise for Janet.
Time is on my side. Yes, it is. Time.
Hi. What was your name? What was your name?
Joe.
Joe. I thought it was like an element 6.
Element 615.
Well, I needed to know that because I actually told him that at one point I decided to write a poem for every element in the periodic table. Which is the craziest thing, because if you don't know you don't know anything about these and you get all sciencey, and I have 3 of them in this thing, and I'm just going to share these poems with you because I can, because I got 3. This one is number 99 in the periodic table. This is Einsteinium. Einstein understood that everything was relative. Why did he have to worry about brushing his hair or changing out of his pajamas when he was busy grappling with the foundations of physics? And once he fathomed the relationship between matter and energy, once he understood the interconnectivity between matter and energy, he suddenly understood, after this Jew physicist left his home in Germany, that Hitler and the Third Reich could be working on an atomic bomb, converting so little matter into so much devastating energy. At this time, he understood the need for Roosevelt to create this weapon so that Germany couldn't destroy us. The gravity of this decision in the hands of evil men weighed him down. And even months before he died, Einstein wrote that although the devastation in Hiroshima and Nagasaki seemed unfathomably horrible, and he regretted writing that letter to Roosevelt, he justified it. His justification was the threat of Germany. When he wrote that letter, he still had to appeal to Roosevelt that, yes, to save us from Germany, this weapon needed to be created. Knowing about his torment in making this decision to ask for the creation of the atomic bomb makes it so ironically beautiful that after scientists discovered an element after the first explosion of the hydrogen bomb, they named the element Einsteinium after the physicists. How ironically beautiful. Einsteinium is a silvery white radioactive synthetic element with a high fission rate, like the atomic bombs Einstein first knew of when fearing his homeland enemy. But instead of the short half-life of all isotopes of Einsteinium, all primordial Einsteinium has decayed by now, and it's now beyond its nuclear creation. So there is almost no use for any isotope of Einsteinium outside of basic scientific research. Which makes me think of the life of Albert Einstein, I suppose. For although Einstein worked at odd jobs for years until he was a patent examiner, his mind was only good at this one thing, doing not so basic scientific research, solving problems, fundamental puzzles. If only he had the time to study the puzzle long enough. Einsteinium. This one is Ununseptium.
What'd you call me?
117 in the periodic table. It doesn't even have a name. It's Ununseptium. It's based on the number for it. And I'm going to share it. Ununseptium. No, because they go as high as 118, and they don't even have a name for it yet, so it's still just called under its Latin and Greek roots for Ununseptium, and that's where the name came from. So they don't have a name for it yet. This is Ununseptium. Oh, this will be fun. I know you were out there somewhere. You were out there for years. But to get you, after toiling in my Dubna lab, we had to ask the Americans over in Tennessee if they could send us some of their wares. But years passed before I could get 22 milligrams of berkelium so I could work in my Moscow Oblast to try to get you into my sights. All that time, all I could do was research, hope. I'd work, I'd go and I'd stand on my own and I'd leave on my own, wondering how long it would take before I would see you and see what you would be like. You see, I used to work at a pharmacy at Nevsky Prospect in Leningrad, and that's when I fell in love with learning about chemicals, and that was when I wanted to discover something truly new. That's when you came into the picture. Because after years of work, I still waited for those damn Americans to come through for us. I mean, we're scientists. We're supposed to be on the same side, and it's all about discovery. And the thing is, the higher we get in our research, the more stable we got on our little island of knowledge. But this waiting was exasperating. I got to the point where I got tired of trying to tell myself they had something to discover, something to share, something that anybody actually wanted to hear. Eventually, they had to ship what I needed to get you in 5 packages wrapped in lead. It flew back and forth across the Atlantic 5 times and was rejected twice by customs. But once I got what I needed, oh, you were just about the heaviest thing I could imagine. Then again, you've had me spinning around over the years, so many years for you. It wouldn't surprise me if you'd have a thing to do, a thing or two to teach me too. So I'd work while listening to the radio, and active actions from you would come through me in short bursts. But I'll take whatever I can get in my little corner of the world. This is research, and this is what I have to do to learn what I can from you. Ununseptium. I know. I'm sorry, I put the strangest ones here for you, but I don't give you oxygen or
More
something.
science.
Well, this one is actually number 52 in the periodic table. This is Tellurium. I don't look. What are these things?
Yeah.
This is Tellurium.
Good.
When a couple is meant to be together, but at their core, they're nothing alike, you can see them come together almost violently before their anger pushes them away from each other. Until they do it again, and again, and again. It's like they can't stop. They can't help it. They rush to each other for a mad embrace. They feel this intense attraction that they can't escape until they know, despite their lust, they hate each other. And they do everything they can to break free. It's a sick cycle they're stuck in. This coming together, this rushing apart. There's electricity in the air. I hear the buzz when I walk by that street corner and see all of the electrical wires crossing in every direction. I can hear those loose electricity jumping from the air. Did you know why electric wires are spaced far apart when they're up so high on poles like that? Well, they do that because those tellurium metal alloy wires up high in the sky like that aren't insulated. And they have a strong magnetic field, then there's all this electricity coursing through them. If the wires were too close to each other, while up in the air like that, the wires would swing violently toward each other because of their insanely strong magnetic attraction. In being drawn to each other, the arc may then form between the wires, destroying them altogether instantly. But then again, magnetism in wires switches polarity 170 times every second because electricity's 60 hertz frequency. And this would make those wires then want to repel each other so often as they were magnetically drawn to each other. So yes, for 120 times every second, those wires would vibrate back and forth. So if there's no electric arc, those tellurium metal alloy wires would vibrate so insanely and violently that if they weren't kept so far apart, they would destroy each other, vibrating. Tellurium is used in an alloy with steel to make high-strength conductors, abundant cosmically but rare on Earth. It's often found combined with gold, In the first gold rush, this mix looked like waste, so they used it to fill potholes for sidewalks. Once they realized it was tellurium and gold, there was a second gold rush. Acute poisoning with tellurium is rare. Most organisms tolerate tellurium. Organic tellurium has antioxidant activity and can be used to identify pathogens. But the thing is, despite this, it might actually be responsible for diphtheria. Its optical refraction makes it perfect for glass. It's been used for color ceramics. It even gives rubber heat resistancy. In copper, iron, lead, or stainless steel, it makes these metals more machinable, improving solar cell efficiency and electric power generators. It even helps with the energy. I don't know. Maybe that explains why we've all feel this electricity in the air. Yeah. Thank you. There's your science lesson. Element, which we're not even an element.
Somebody told me one time that Canon 615 was an isotope, and I was like, I didn't know they had 215.
They don't.
They don't.
It goes up to 118. They're trying to work on discovering more. They think it might go into 130s or 170s or something. I'm like, screw you all. I've done all this work for rating 118. I'm not rating more. Screw you. There's no spot for it in the table also. But yeah, but that's what scientists do. Also try to research this.
She's got electric boots. A lot of them, you know I read
Get it one more
His
time.
name is Element 615.
What?